What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. It's Father's Day, so be sure to use Papa John's TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra and supporting the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying, and stop by the live stream at 7 o'clock Central tonight. We have a couple of odd and end price hikes slash buyouts happening, and maybe cards you didn't know were value, and we're going to go over penny stonks in the later half. A ton of people have been asking to see more penny stonks, and I'm going to deliver with that. But starting with Meteor Black Comet Dragon, baby bumping up in price here. You see the lowest near mint is 25s. I don't think this is the good alternate thing to be summoning in case your Dragoons gets cherries, and if you're getting cherries in the first place, it's going to hurt either way. But this specifically needs another level 6 dragon type monster, but it does become a later extender if you're surviving, because if it's into the graveyard, you can target a normal monster. So just all these extra setups. And yes, you can send a Red Eyes monster from deck to graveyard, but most decks aren't shoving in extra Red Eyes cards, level 6 dragons. But if you are, I guess this is an extra summonable thing for when Red Eyes Dragoon gets cherries. We see Red Eyes Slash Dragon actually will be receiving its reprint in the Legendary Duelist Season 1, so that's a very welcome reprint there, yet it's actually still up in price versus its market price. I really don't get the rolling buyouts that happened with this, but hey, this is going up in price. Maybe you had something you didn't know was worth money. One of the top cards, ironically, out of Invasion of Vengeance. Valkyrie Sext, I always murder this name most likely, is towards $8 versus its market price of $3.50. At first I was thinking, well, Toon Chaos gave some Valkyrie support, that could be it, but this is the only one going up. It turns out it's more so in a combo with Diviner of Heralds, a card that a lot of people are speculating will be out in Battles of Legend, but I don't think we know actually when we will be getting that card. So for a combo piece that has a likely reprint coming in the Megatons, this is something I'd personally avoid. Savage Strike is slated for the Megatons, and while this will still be the higher rarity, even if it's a widely used combo, I see this falling down more so in price rather than going up when it gets its reprint, and I think it would stick back towards $3.50 if there's this readily available copy of it that everybody can use. Yes, people love max raritying their decks, but I still think this is kind of a poorly timed buyout considering the set she's in. But sometimes cards just completely whiff and do miss the Megatons, so people love to gamble that, but it's very few and far between. Not a gamble I personally would be taking. Toon Table of Contents, the tournament pack version is $800. That doesn't mean it's really at this price. It's really at the price when we'll see sales rates happening. I don't think anybody's going to be paying this, and ironically, it has been reprinted in super versions from here, but, you know, not in that old holographic, not with that TP6 stamp. I just don't think it's worth anywhere near this. You see the market price was $80. There were actually sales around this. Maybe it becomes $120 to $150 after this, but I would lean more towards the $120 side. We'll see how history falls out on that, though. The super rare out of Dark Saviors has been consistently going up and out of copies, and it only has oh so many versions of a holographic. Also a super rare to note out of the Speed Duel tournament packs that has very few listings, and almost every single common is $1. But I wouldn't be scrambling for the commons right now because we do have a reprint coming in this full set spoiler of the new Legendary Duel Season 1, so there should be extra copies coming out into market. But I don't think this will be too far under $1 because how many of these are actually going to be ripped open? How many people are going to be tearing it into the set? And what actual price coolants will come from it? I don't know. This set is very niche. It has a higher MSRP of $15 per special edition, and there's something updated that I didn't see on the description before. As a special bonus, each Legendary Duel Season 1 box will also include a collectible double-sided art card that you can use as a token. One side will be one of the 10 characters in Legendary Duelist Season 1, while the reverse side is 9 puzzle pieces, or the key to show you how to put them together. So the 10th is like kind of a map. That's really cool that they're recognizing 9-page binders as the standard so that you can actually have this puzzle displayed in your binder. A little piece of something extra nice, because character cards are desired and very few and far between, and tokens and that kind of thing in the TCG. So we get character tokens, that's exciting, and we get a puzzle on top of it. People will actually kind of want 18 copies total to have both sides and have them, but that doesn't mean they'll be the most valued. It's a cool little thing in here, though, that I didn't notice before, at least, or wasn't there. But yeah, Toon table contents, back to what we're discussing. The common means probably not to run for the common / rare out of Yugi's world. I would still consider holographic versions, and I do think these will continue to go up with the popularity of Toons, but it's nice that we're getting another reprint, because almost every single version of this just feels extremely hard to get. Dark Beginnings, Gold, Speed Duels, Legendary Collection, like, they're all not the most widely open sets / most existing thereof, and this was Dark Saviors, and you can see it's actually gone up over time. A penny stonk I told you to get in the past. And finally, a card to sell now. This was in the OCG version of the Sacred Beast structure deck, and Konami's done a very good job of importing cards. Remember Triple Burst and that debacle? Oh yeah, they're not gonna do it, they're gonna miss this one. I think that Radiant will be in the structure deck. I think that will carry over. We did get Dogoran in the Dinosaur structure, of course, so I expect this Fiend Kaiju to end up in there, and I would be selling it at your $6 right now, basically almost paying what a vendor pays for that structure deck, and you know, 3 of these would buy you almost 2 structures. Starliege Seifert is up in price. Tons of people are talking about dragon combos. There's a dragon FTK running around here, but it takes like 11 cards in the extra deck despite its consistency. Hand traps are a thing. It's still pretty cool to see that actually pop off. But Starliege Seifert is up in price, and it too is a candidate for the Megaton, so be aware for that. It still will be highest rarity, but we've seen how bad top cards tank when they end up as lower rarities in the Megatons. I don't expect this to stay up very much too high, and the Megatons are creeping up. But again, it could miss. I don't think so. I want to talk about Eternity Code and Penny Stonk thoughts. A ton of people have been telling me this common or that common is a good Penny Stonk in Eternity Code. And while I agree they're very good cards, consider this. Now instead of 7, there are 8 commons per pack, and there are only 50 different commons because half the freaking set is hollow. I think that in the future, commons as penny stonks are very hurt by this, and you can kind of feel it with Parallel Exceed. Remember people rushing for dollar copies, saying that because people will be getting playsets, this will be a $5 common? It's more so, not on the front page here. Does it make the second page? Yes, it does. 27 cents. Wow, and people were giving out the dollars happily, thinking there would be so many more. And you can buy them in mass quantities at these low prices. 297 of them here at 40 cents. So penny stonks, I think, for the commons are kind of dead, but when you're looking at a set like Eternity Code, that makes the supers and ultras all the more exciting. Stuff like Area or Union Driver. The ultras are harder to get than ever. This was so busted open. The Starlights are helping bring coolant to prices right now, but we don't have an unlimited wave on the way right now, at least yet, and we don't know how that's going to be implemented besides the Megatons. They are very exciting to look through ultras, such as Lopter, such as Union Driver, such as the Plunder Patrol cards. Everything is pretty exciting to look at because there's now 14 ultra rares, and because of how great the set was, the Dark Neostorm effect, there's so many great penny stonks to actually look through here. Medolce Salon, Croco Dragon. So consider that math. When looking through, I wouldn't be picking out the commons out of this set as something that you think will skyrocket, but hey, maybe the math is wrong. Maybe over a whole, year or so, it's going to take this year's Megatons and the next year's to see any of these reprinted. Well, maybe some of them really can appreciate, but I think the real money to be made is in these harder to get super rares, harder to get ultra rares, harder to get secret rares, and let me be clear, I hate the new ratios, and Konami did a terrible job by not giving us extra ultra rares and secret rares in the core set. But for penny stock investing and how this set specifically turned out with it, it's great. How Rise of the Duelists will turn out with it, it's great. The first time we get a bad core set from here on out, we're really gonna feel the new ratios. Imagine Lightning Storm in something like this more so, which, nothing is shorted, but it would be terrible. Now, my rant aside, let's get to penny stonks on top of what I just mentioned. I think unauthorized reactivation out of the structure deck Mechanized Madness, it is a super rare, is a pretty good penny stonk. It works with unions, union drivers out on machines. In general, it's more of this generalized machine union card, and should ABC ever get help on a ban list again after Konami just smacked it down, you'll definitely see people rushing after this card, but it's good to have in the first place. You see a ton of copies listed by Epic Cards and Games of all people at dollars. Nice to say their name more times during Market Watch lately, and then a ton of them line up $1.50. I think this is a great thing to have personally. And of course, if you're shopping penny stonks or expensive Starlight Rare cards, big or small, use that TCG player link in the description down below. Awakening of the Possessed is a Charmer card that I think is pretty good to have in its holofoil version, and has all 4 Charmers featured on it. I think with it being printed here, they might avoid it being in the structure deck, but who knows with Konami and how they love to shove things in where and what. But either way, I think the art is good collectability, and go ahead, check it out and think about it. I definitely think it's a good one to have, and it lets you draw cards within that deck. White Mare. Oh, just to point out, anytime a structure deck comes out, the pass support tends to be what's targeted for stuff with structure decks past the point of where I usually expect. So if you think there's other Charmer stuff, bring it up in the comment section down below. White Mare is the highest rarity version for a Skull Servant card. I've brought this up once before, but we usually see those over years go towards dollars, $2, $3. This was very expensive, but only because it was out of Star Strike Blast when it was a common only, but now this is its highest rarity version, and people do love their Skull Servants. I see this being bought out in the future to the point of at least $1 to $2 naturally over time. Just something to consider slowly picking up while trading. Galaxy Cyclone does not have the most versions for its card. Its most recent printing, though, is a super rare out of Secret Slayers, so pretty much new, and that helped bring its price down. Anytime there's mill decks or things that get extra sins, this tends to find its way into formats as Spell and Trap Destruction. Infernoids historically love playing this card. The secret rare for the Mega Pack version is very low in price, and some of the secret originals are low in price versus the history. Remember seeing lowest $6, $7 on the secret rare before? So while it does have a current coolant, you have extremely cheap copies in the super rare version, more so where every other copy is $1. I could see this joining one day in the future, but I would more so be looking around at stuff like the Mega Pack secret rare being close to highest rarity at $1.50 right now for its specific version. Trickstars got announced as one of the decks that can receive support in the structure deck voting poll, but last structure deck voting poll, basically every single deck got future support somewhere, so that means that Trickstars can get another look from Konami in the future if they don't win the structure deck poll even. So many cards at $1, but sticking around there for their highest rarity versions. And of course, you have those revolving star pack buyouts. There's also a Trickstar token to consider. These are all things I would think about getting, but I would avoid things that could get reprints like Horabane here. And also, Reincarnation only has its 2 printings, but if there's a structure deck, yes, you could definitely see some of these getting reprints. I would still hold on to highest rarity copies and maybe even consider spending the dollars on them and having extra playsets. What does Konami do when they reprint or make new cards for certain things? Deep Sea Diva, one of the most broken cards of all time, now at 3 thanks to that. Well, it's time to not be the most relevant that way. I think that you would see people going for the original copies still out the gate, and yeah, I would see Light Stage probably getting unlimited in that case, as they could even excuse it as it was hit for the Orcust engine being mixed with it. Pre-Prep is a card that only has 3 printings, and with Dragma on the horizon could be seen for extra advantage within the Dragma decks potentially, and towards $2 for the ultra rares, and the originals being very affordable, but not the most copies of each listing. It's a penny stonk I'd consider sooner than later. And Avendred Savior. This is a highly underestimated zombie card. Even though its effect is during battle and it has to battle, it makes itself become extra thick and ends up foolish burying zombies for you. I cannot emphasize how underrated this card is, especially by non-zombie players, but I think if you played zombie decks, you end up playing a copy or two of this, and you typically find yourself making it in the grind games. Something I would want to have access to in the future, as zombies are just generically such a good deck slash engine, and they're just bound to get future support or find their way breaking themselves into a metagame after a ban list or with just one piece bringing it all together. That being said, thank you for watching today's Market Watch. That's oh no, that's the Robbie Cole is streaming right now. Interruption at the end of Market Watch thanks to Robbie Cole. But thank you for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Check out Robbie Cole streaming right now, and I'll be on at 7 o'clock Central.